Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Yesterday I made a video about leaving China. Well, slow down now. Yesterday we had a ticket booked for February the 4th from Nanning to Vancouver. Once we get to Vancouver, it's about noon, so we can jump a ferry or fly, whatever. Swim to the Vancouver Island. It doesn't make much difference. Or just spend overnight in Vancouver and head out the next day. No big deal. But then I wake up this morning and my daughter said, call me, like WeChat me. It's okay. So she checked on my ticket, or on Weifong and my ticket, and instead of February the 4th, they had extended it, or they've changed the date to February the 5th. All right, well, one day, you know, when you're tired, who cares? It's not a big deal. Then she sends me a notice from Air Canada stating that the last flight leaving from Canada to China is on January the 30th, and the last flight leaving from China to Canada is later on January 30th. Okay, so no more flights. So how can you change a booking from February the 4th to February the 5th if there's no airplanes leaving Canada to go to China? So what is this? Airplane just miraculously appear in Shanghai on February the 5th? Okay, well, so got to get the answers from Air Canada. So there's a couple of numbers, one in Canada and one in Shanghai and one in Beijing for Air Canada. So Weifong, for a couple hours this morning, she tried to phone the Shanghai or the Beijing one, and while we could get through on the Beijing one, it would ring and then they'd put you on hold, and then after about 2 minutes they'd cut you off your phone back. And this went on for, well, she tried it 10 or 15 times, and the one in Shanghai just says, sorry, we're too busy to talk to you. So the customer service with Air Canada, oh, and my daughter, she phoned all day to Air Canada, can't get through, it's busy, we're not. So yeah, we're not talking to you. We know you're bitched out and you're pissed off at getting your flight either delayed or canceled or whatever. Okay, so she finally got on the waiting list at Air Canada just before I left the house here. She WeChatted me. She says, I'm on, they said I have to wait for an hour and a half to 2 hours to talk to a representative from Air Canada. Yeah, okay. So she's probably still over there waiting on her telephone for an Air Canada representative to talk to her, to tell her whether there's an airplane there on February the 5th, or are they just stringing me along. All right, so I get a text message from Jerry, a Facebook friend, and he says that he has a friend that's in Shanghai at this moment and got a text message this morning saying your flight is canceled. No explanation, nothing, just your flight is canceled. Okay, so getting out of China, where am I going with this? Getting out of China is not as easy as I thought it would be. So I start checking on the internet because I thought, well, you know, it's whatever. I can always go someplace else. It's not a big deal. Don't have to go to Canada. Well, all of these air carriers are shutting down. They're not coming to China. There's no. They say direct flights, but there's no flights out of China, no flights into China, like Finnish Air and Japanese Air and you name it Air, they're all shutting down China. So you see, the governments around the world have sort of a thing that they don't want people from China coming to their country. And how do they deal with that? Like air carriers, if the air carriers aren't carrying you from China to wherever else in the world, well, you're basically quarantined. So the Chinese government doesn't have to quarantine our asses here in China. Other governments will do it for us. Other air carriers will do it for us. You know, I wouldn't even be thinking of leaving China if it wasn't for Weifong's compromised immune system after her cancer treatments, because I think that we could weather the storm here easy enough. But you just, it's another one of those anti-Chinese type bullshit that if this happened in the United States or in Canada or anywhere else, you think all of the other air carriers would shut you down? Not a frickin' chance in the world, guys. Today, I got the numbers from my daughter. My VPN's down. Damn, ExpressVPN. Boy, I'm bitching on all of these things today because I'm a little miffed. Anyway, so 7,783 cases today. So it was, what was it, 6,057 yesterday. So it's going up 1,800 confirmed cases of the coronavirus each day now. If you see the graph, it's going just about straight up now on that map web page. 170 people dead. Yesterday, what was it, 130? 132? So 28 to 30 people died in one day. And people want to get out. So the United States is sending, did send an airplane into Wuhan and haul people out. Japan sent, I think 3 of them in, and they're moving their people out. France did the same thing. Russia's doing the same thing. Canada said, oh, well, it'll take us a couple of days or some time to get authorization to send an airplane into Wuhan to take the Canadians out. There's 160 of them there, approximately. You see how proactive Canada is? Not. You know, like, oh, gotta wait for Justin Trudeau to get back off his holidays before he can do anything. Why? Because he's gonna make a decision? He doesn't make any decisions. His cronies make decisions for him. What about the rest of the Canadians in China? What about the rest of the Americans and the English and the Australians and all of these different people that say, well, you know, it's getting a little risky here. I want to go back to my home country. No, you're not going anywhere unless something happens. You know, Weifeng and I have other means to do things. Alex, another YouTuber out of Thailand, Bangkok, he's got a place. He says, well, come down and drink beer with me for a while, you know, and that's an option. I might just do that. We can go to Kuala Lumpur, fly from Kuala Lumpur to oh no, you can't go to Kuala Lumpur. They're not accepting Chinese tourists anymore. Chinese passport. They're not issuing visas. We don't need a visa. We're Canadians. Yeah, but you're coming out of China. You're not allowed. Thailand is still open. Yeah, Thailand is still open. Japan is shutting it down. The States is shutting it down. Canada's shutting it down. They're all shutting it down. Why? And how? They're not just saying, oh, we're not going to take it. The air carriers are just not going there anymore. What are you going to do? Take a boat? You know, swim? It's pretty hard to ride your bike across the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, so there's very limited decisions that we can make to get out of China at this point. And I think it's these governments around the world's responsibility to protect their citizens and give them a means to go where they want. The right of mobility, guys, it's in the Constitution. So if you're going to take away my mobility by shutting down Air Canada, Finnair, American Airlines, you name it, it's being shut down. Australian Airlines, you know, Cathay Pacific, all of these guys they're just not flying to China, and they shut her all down, and they shut her all down today. Oh, and another thing. Okay, so Air Canada changes my flight from February the 4th to February the 5th. And my daughter had to go online and check the status of the flight to find out that it's been changed one day. Air Canada never sent me an email, never notified me, anything, nothing. So are they just doing a delay tactic? Oh, we'll put them off another day because we don't know what we're going to do with these people. You know, they'll cancel flights at the drop of a hat and give you no reason, no alternative flights. But then you got to get a hold of them, and you can't phone them, you can't email. I emailed them a couple times, nothing back. So think about that. We'll cancel. You buy our flight, we'll cancel your flight, we'll make it so you can't contact us, so you have no idea what the hell's going on. I don't know. I think a person should be able to sue for breaking a contract. I'm going to check that out when I get back to Canada. if I ever do get back to Canada. See, it might get to the point where we have no alternative but to stay here, hunker down, go to Walmart and buy every canned good they got, and just not go outside, because you notice that I'm in a very remote area of a park here. Well, I'm doing that for a reason, because I go out and I make these videos and keep you guys informed of what's going on here in China and sort of my little world and Wei Feng's little world. But I don't want to take any chances getting this coronavirus and taking it home to Wei Feng. So I wear a mask. I've got it in my thing here. I wear a mask when I'm around anybody else, and I don't do any videoing in crowds anymore. It's one of those things that I'm not worried about myself. I'm tough as nails, but as far as Wei Feng goes, she's not, and it could be a problem for her if she does get sick, because her immune system's pooched right now. So you're gonna see videos of me standing by myself in the bush like a crazy old Canadian. And basically that's what I am anyway. Or what did one guy say? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Peter, but it might not have been. He called me an elderly man. Thanks, buddy. See, I wouldn't be so pinned at Air Canada if they can't do the flight and that's just the way it is. And they emailed me and say, well, we're going to cancel your flight because this. Then at least I would know. And the money that I spent on that flight, I could take it, I could spend on something else, going somewhere else. But they leave you hanging now until February the 5th to see if that plane is actually going to be on the tarmac when we get to Shanghai. So, and if it isn't, well, then we've wasted a week of our time waiting for this airplane where we could have been making other arrangements. And those arrangements are definitely going to cost a lot more cash. So what's with that, Air Canada? What's the matter with you people? If you can do it, make sure that you inform people, yes, we can do it. If you can't do it, make sure that you inform people quickly, efficiently, that you can't. Stating that you're going to cancel all flights in and out of China on January the 30th, and then booking people on February the 4th, and then changing their date to February the 5th, still stating in your notice that you're not flying in and out of China after January the 30th. Then you say, oh, the Canadian Embassy will know what's going on, so let's phone them. Oh man, it's like phoning Bob and Doug McKenzie, whatever. Is Air Canada going to be flying after January the 30th? Well, I don't know. We don't know. You're going to have to phone Air Canada. I tried that. None of their numbers work. Okay, well, whatever. So I says, well, should we be worried here? What are the numbers? Do you know the numbers of infected cases? And there's the posted numbers. Are they real? Are they I don't know. We don't know that. Well, what can you tell us, Mr. Embassy guy? Just do what the local authorities tell you to do. Thanks. So that was a waste of time. That took me about an hour out of my day today. So and they put you on hold and push button 1, push button 2, push. So it's frustrating for sure. The efficiency of the Chinese doesn't move. Just because the Canadian Embassy is in China doesn't make them as efficient as the Chinese, because the Chinese are proactive, and when you talk to them, they have answers. Some of them you don't believe, but shit happens. But at least they attempt to do a better job than not contacting. If I was on a Chinese air carrier and they had canceled my trip or changed the date of my trip, I would get an email, a text message, whatever, guaranteed every frickin' time. Air Canada, what the hell's the matter with you people? Well, the SARS epidemic in China, I think there was 5,700 and some odd positive cases at that time. Well, we've surpassed that in, I think it's 46 days since December the 8th. We've surpassed that number by a couple thousand already. Yeah, so this is way, way more widespread than the SARS epidemic ever could be. And if you look at it from the time there was 40-some cases to the time now that there's 7,783 cases, was not last Monday, but the Monday before, and it's Thursday now. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 days ago. And it's gone from 47 cases to 7,783 cases. And it went from 3 dead to 170 dead in 11 days. So we've got a problem here in China. I don't believe that they can stop this now. I believe it's all over. It's everywhere. It's even in Tibet. How the hell do you get a virus into Tibet? Nobody can even get into Tibet, let alone a virus, but it's in Tibet. It's in so many countries around the world. It's one of these things that, man, it's a scary situation. And even though the parks are closed, there's always somebody. Well, nobody listens to the rules anyway half the time. So you'd expect people to be in the park. Look around me. There ain't nobody in the park, man. It's eerie. It's eerie that like the whole city seems deserted. Nobody's coming out. Everybody is afraid, except for me. You know, like as I say, nothing else can live in my body except for me. Probably because of the brandy. I keep myself antiseptically clean inside. But the thing is that, yeah, she's a scary situation here. So anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit your subscribe button again, and don't forget to hit the bell. And don't ever forget to put a couple bucks on the children's Patreon account. It's for a good cause. Thanks for watching. Bye now.